Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new series called Game Jam Quickplay, where we take a quick look at various Game Jam games and just rapid fire play through them. Not all of them will play to completion, but we're gonna at least take a cursory look at most of them. Why I started this little series? Well, I recently took part in Global Game Jam myself, and yeah, what better way to start this series off by showcasing my own game. I get to talk a little bit about it as well as my experiences in it. So, this is e-Type. This is my own project. I'm pretty proud of it. So I made this in 48 hours, and everything in this game was created by me, other than the music and the sound effects. So it was all done in 48 hours. So I'm still pretty surprised myself that I managed to do all this. And yeah, so I'll explain as I go along. But this game is meant to be played with only the spacebar. So if you hit space, we begin. And now we're playing as e-Type, who is that rotating fellow moving around the track there. And the objective of the game, which is quite simple once you try it out, is when you press the spacebar, you launch little waves like that. And you're supposed to activate all the p-types by shooting the waves at the corresponding color. So right now the stage only has one color, which is red, and that little thing in the center is the indicator, which tells you the color of your next shot. So it's a simple puzzle game kind of thing. And the walls right now on the outside, they're red, so that means they absorb shots. Later on we'll come across some walls that are green, and those will bounce your shots. So it's a little interesting puzzle game like this. And the objective is just to clear each puzzle with the least number of moves, and at the end of the game they'll give you a grade, which will tell you like basically the less shots you make, the better your score will be. So yep, and I missed a shot there, but it's okay. There we go, and now we have red and yellow. So I might as well go into detail a little bit about this. So the theme of the game jam was waves, and well, you know, there was a lot of things I could have done with that idea, but first thing that came to mind was, well, I wanted to incorporate a wave-like projectile somewhere in my game, and I thought, hey, you know, with all that bouncing them off walls and stuff, that would be pretty cool. Like so, you know, right here, there's a green wall, and we're gonna make use of it to bounce a yellow wave off and hit that yellow p-type on the side, but first you gotta get the red one. And yeah, we're gonna have to wait one more loop. So yeah, waves. So that was the first thing that I came up with, but I didn't quite have a full idea of how I wanted to make my game either until I looked at the other stipulations. So Global Game Jam, what they have is a couple of like extra scenarios which you can like do for challenges, like say making a game that's playable by colorblind people even though it utilizes color. I'm gonna have to discard a red shot there because I need a yellow shot and I missed. It's gonna bounce off the wall, but that's the wrong angle too, so I'm gonna have to wait for another loop around. So yeah, so one of the challenges was to make a game with only the spacebar as your input, the only input, which was you know, creativity works best when you have limits, and that's when I got the idea for this game. That is to say, a simple puzzle game. Movement is automatic, so you don't need to use any inputs, and all you need to do is one spacebar to fire. So at first I was debating, how am I gonna do like a menu or something with it, because you know, I'm gonna need menu options, and if you can't click on them or use any arrow keys or whatever, how are you gonna navigate the menus? So even though in the end I didn't really have a menu, just a press space to start thing, which you saw, my original idea was that I was gonna have e-Type move around in a fixed pattern, like on a track like this, and whenever he moved over something and hovered over it, if you press the spacebar, it will activate that menu option. So it was a pretty interesting idea that I in the end didn't actually use, because it wasn't really necessary as it turned out when I finished it. But yeah, it's one of the pretty creative ideas that I thought, and I was like pretty pleased with myself for thinking of that. let me just try and get this shot. I think that will go in. Yep, it'll bounce off that. This game has 20 stages. I know it sounds like a lot, but the stages are quite simple, as you can see. So I managed to code in like sufficient numbers of them. And so this is like a little short game. You can play it in one sitting. And now I've got 4 colors. Anyway, yeah, you can play it in one sitting, and it's self-contained and does have an ending, so it's complete. And I'm probably not planning to do any further development on it, at least not on this specific iteration. There's a couple glitches that I'll go into later. Well, really, it's just one major one, but I'll get to it when I get to it. And other than that, well, as you can see, e-Type moves around a lot, and he's constantly rotating. So you're gonna have to get used to his momentum and when to fire, because when you see the flashing arrow that tells you where your shot's gonna go, well, it's only going to be instantaneous. I'm gonna have to discard a couple colors again, no choice. And so because of the movement, you're gonna have to wait for it to line up and then fire off a shot with the right momentum. Now here's a tricky level. The little protrusion on the left, originally it was originally the opening was much smaller, but I found out it was near impossible to actually bounce shots into it, mainly because of how the waves work. Okay, I'm gonna have to try. Yeah, the correct point to launch the wave is in a rather unintuitive part, but it's coming up now. There. So you're gonna have to make sure some of the wave goes past that line in order to manage to hit that red P-type back there. The yellow one, you just have to bounce the shots through, thread the needle. And here's one of the principles of the game. Waves expand as they travel, so firing at the green one from the long distance away makes it more likely, as does trying to hit this blue one. And now we've come to the fun parts of the levels where all the walls are green. So one shot of each color should be enough to take out all of these things. The center is made of red walls, so there is a chance that the shots might get eaten up. But if we're just patient, something good might happen. So we'll see. Anyways, the idea for this game I roughly finalized while on the first couple hours, after I was brainstorming a little bit, and I messed around in Game Maker for a little bit to try and test out my mechanics and stuff. Once I was satisfied with it, I started coding the levels and the mechanics using placeholder graphics. It took about most of the first 24 hours constructing out all these things. Got the walls, got the P-types, got a placeholder little square graphic with an arrow on it for our old friend e-Type over there. And yeah, once I constructed all 20 levels, I was pretty much home free. I figured like, well, my game is mechanically sound there. I just need to pretty it up now. So I spent the rest of the 24 hours, yeah, the 24 hours. Yep, the rest of the 24 hours I spent on making the actual graphics for it. And now, in my game jam location, there was a roaming band of musicians. I call them a band, but they were really just stationed at a table there. They were offering their services for free music. So originally I was planning to go royalty free, but yay, there were services there, so I might as well make the most of them. That was a badly timed shot. Okay, try and tag the green one. Oh dear. I need to remember how to tag that one. This level's pretty tricky as well because of the fact that the blocking walls are behind now. We're gonna have to use some wave shenanigans. We tag the blue one in the corner. Okay. So you see that doesn't work because it bounces, the wave expands outwards. So we're gonna have to think about it. And of course those red walls just absorb all your shots directly like that. So it's a little tricky. Anyways, back to talking about my experience, yeah. So I spent most of the second day like just making graphics and stuff. It was a lot of work, to be honest. There was a lot of like coding and animations that had to be going into it. I was doing a lot more polish than I really needed just to make a playable game. But hey, I'm proud of it. I like how it turned out as well. It's pretty smooth and stuff. I mean, it could be better, like the background animation for instance, that definitely could be a lot smoother. Maybe I'll do a 1.1 patch and like pretty up some of the animations. I kind of want to do a 1.1 patch too anyway, because of a certain glitch at the end, which I will get to eventually. Let me see if I bounce this rate wave off here. It should travel over there, bounce back and hit that one. No, it's a little too wide. I'll have to figure that one out later. They got totally eaten. I'm getting trolled by my own game. Anyways, this game, it is on the Global Game Jam website, as is all the other games, and I'm planning to eventually go and take a look at all the other completed ones as well. Like, my site produced quite a few games, some of which were pretty impressive. Like, I liked them, and we'll get to those eventually. Got those, I'll quickfire play them, not necessarily do full playthroughs. Not all of them are complete games either. Some of them are just like single level demos and stuff. But yeah, so this will be the start of an interesting little series. And of course, I won't be just restricted to Global Game Jam. I'm gonna take a look at Ludum Dare stuff as well. Some other smaller game jams perhaps, I don't know. There's lots of possibilities. The idea is just to, you know, bring these things out to light. Have this little corner of experiences like shown out and put out for people to see. So yeah, Game Jam, Global Game Jam was fun, if a little tiring. I'm glad I managed to pace myself well, all things considered. I mean, I was one of the few people. I don't know if anyone else in my location was running solo, but yeah, I think it was pretty much just me. Everyone else had groups, so I guess it's impressive what I did. Kinda. I don't want to blow my own trumpet here. So this level is a tricky one. So you've got a double diamond pattern here, and the red P types over there, they're specifically designed to be pretty tricky to get to, because as you can see, there's green walls there. So if you miss your target, you're gonna bounce the shots upwards and into the red walls above it, which absorbs the shots, as you already know. And you could also, you might originally think of trying to bounce it off some of the platforms above or below it, but it doesn't really work because, as you can see, the shots just get absorbed there, so it's not gonna work. There is a trick to it. Either you have to make a very precise shot off that little green patch, which may not always work. It's a little inconsistent unless you're like really good at the angles. I'm gonna have to discard that shot there. But the other trick is to sort of roll the wave along the green panel. So let me demonstrate here. Your wave needs to be long enough. So you see how it bounces there? Because the P type sticks out a little bit above the platforms, you can have the wave, like, while it's reflecting off the green, it will eventually impact the P type there. So yep, that's one of the secrets. I think this will work as well. It's rolling. Nope, a little bit too late there. I'm gonna discard a couple more shots. I didn't even notice the blue one down there. I discarded the shot for nothing. Okay, or you can hit it directly, like so. So it's not too tricky, although this is one of the harder levels. Speaking of glitches, there's one right now. One of the oddities is that because of the way the game is coded, sometimes the shots get stuck on the edges of the platforms. It's got something to do with the fact that because the walls reverse the momentum of the particles that make up the wave, if you hit the side of some of the platforms that are designed to like bounce them backwards. So let's say you have like a horizontal one, for instance. You're supposed to reflect it in the vertical axis. So if you hit it on the side, the vertical speed becomes 0 and it kind of just gets stuck there. And likewise for the horizontal ones as well. So you see they're like sticking to the edges, but it doesn't really impact gameplay that much, so I don't need to make too much of a fuss about it. So this one is a little tricky maze-like kind of thing. As you can see, there's a lot of tight corridors and stuff, and they're all green except for that little patch of red in the center that's just there to eat up your shots because it's evil. But as you can see, because the wave particles are just bouncing around all over the place, usually eventually something will get hit. Although I'm doing a terrible job at sniping that green one down there. There we go. I also like the little effect at the end of the stage transition, because what we originally can do is originally I could destroy everything, including the particles, but I like how if there's a lot of particles floating around the screen before the thing ends, like I'll demonstrate, I don't mind. I'll tank my score a little bit. Wait for it to expand out. And as you can see in the level transition, kind of looks like fireworks, doesn't it? It's it's real pretty, you know. And now we introduced the last P-type, which is the white one. I was debating whether I wanted to make like a boss type enemy, or like, you know, there aren't really enemies in this game, the P-types are just there. So we have this little white P-type. It runs around and generates red walls randomly. And one of them by themselves isn't too much of a hassle, but as you'll see later, a whole group of them, they can very easily eat up your shots, so that's gonna be fun. Let me try and snipe that guy. There you see, some of my shots got eaten up there. Of course, since the white ones are P-types, you're gonna have to hit them as well, and that's the fifth color. You can see my color is white, so I'm gonna have to wait for it to line up. This guy's moving a little quick right now. There. Oh right, I have to lead the target as well. It's tricky. I'm gonna have to discard a bunch of shots as well. There you see, my yellow wave aimed at that one, completely eaten. And there, I missed. At least I'll tag that one now. Okay, now we just have to get this guy. He moves around in a fixed pattern, so at least there's that. So perhaps I should provide a little bit of context to the game now that we're nearing towards the end. So E-types, P-types, wondering what those stand for? There's a little thing behind it. If you look carefully at the designs, E-types' eyes are made of E's. Yeah, they're little E's, and they have little negative signs on as his eyebrows, sort of. So if you study physics, you'll know that that's the sign of an electron. And yep, you'd be right. The E in E-type, or rather E-type himself, is supposed to be representative of an electron. So what about the P-types then, you ask? Well, if you look carefully at the P-type's eyes, you'll notice that their eyes are kind of made out of gamma symbols. So that's photons. So these guys are photons, and that's why you activate them, sort of. And this is probably bringing to mind ideas of electricity and all that stuff right now. So remember how the theme was waves? Other than the projectiles themselves being wave particles and, you know, making use of the fact that the waves sort of like spread out and stuff, part of the central game mechanic and all that. The idea here is that you're an electron traveling through a wire, activating photons. Of course, it's a little stylized, like real electronics don't work like this. But that's the theme of this game, sort of. So you notice like there's a little background there with the little pulses there. It's kind of like a technological thing, isn't it? Okay, gonna discard this and discard this. We've only got a green one left, and then we're gonna take care of these two roving little orbs spraying walls everywhere. Let's hope it doesn't get eaten up. Okay, we got it. And yeah, we will see the ending pretty soon, which I'm pretty proud of. So the game incorporates a bunch of stuff. Light waves, electromagnetic waves, and the waves movement in the game mechanics and stuff. Of course, not everyone's gonna get it, but I get it. And I like it. And now there's 6 of these little buggers. But it's a green wall, so we're just gonna throw shots out randomly and hope that they don't get eaten up too much. And then we'll aim this lot at them. We got one of them. We gotta discard them anyway in order to hit them one more time. Normally when it comes to this, it's best to just discard and draw and try and kill off or rather activate the white p-types first. I completely whiffed that. Oh wait, no I didn't. Bouncing walls, thank you. Oh, that green one got completely eaten up. The wave is most likely to be eaten up when you're at point blank range because obviously all the particles in the wave are clustered together. So it's gonna be more likely to hit them. I'm gonna spread out this white wave and hope that it hits some of them. Hey, we got one of them. We might get the other. Nah, I don't think so. Not at this point. Let's hope that wave gets him. Anyways, anything else? Anything else I need to talk about? Oh yeah, the music. So it was a roving band of musicians, and they were basically just offering like free music services. And I was originally planning to go royalty-free music, but hey, the service there, made use of it, and yeah, we've got this lovely little atmospheric electronic track. And if you notice something cool with the activation sounds of the p-types, I requested for the chimes that they made to be in key to the music, and each p-type actually has a different tone chime. Sadly, I've been playing through really fast right now. Well, not really that fast. I've been pretty meticulous with my shots, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so each p-type has a different chime, has a different key, and when you're hitting all of them at once, it makes a pretty cool effect where like all the sounds are like playing off each other and stuff, and it's sort of like a little harmonious experience. I got that idea from Child of Eden when everything is in the key of the music, and like it was really cool. I wanted to have something like that. The music being atmospheric is just it's a simple game. So a little atmospheric electronic track would be fine. So I really gotta thank A. Lim, who's the musician and the SFX artist for this game. She really helped with the building out this part of the experience, the music. And I think I've covered pretty much everything about this game. Its development, a little behind the scenes stuff. Oh yeah, so behind the scenes stuff, I've got a bunch of preliminary sketches, I guess, my ideas, and I've got a Facebook group for my indie games and stuff. I'll leave a link in the description, and like if you're interested to see the stuff and maybe my future work, I am studying game design, so I'm definitely going to be making more games and stuff. If you're interested to look into that, feel free. There'll be a link in the description below where it's a public Facebook group for my games and stuff. I've got another one coming up soon. It wasn't meant for my midterm paper, but it's a simple demo for now, but I'm planning to make it a little more full-fledged and stuff. So you want to keep track on updates on that, you can go there as well. Of course, you can just stick around on this channel as well. I'll be making videos and covering my own stuff for news and stuff. And if you want to receive updates for that one, you can go to the Facebook page for my YouTube channel, which that one, it's in the description of every one of my videos, but I doubt anyone actually goes to that. But yeah, if you want to be updated for streams and for new videos, streams particularly because I don't have a fixed schedule as of right now. Being a student's kind of made it tricky to really keep a full-time regular schedule. But if you're interested in that stuff, go ahead, take a like on that page and you'll receive updates. Got all the white ones as well. Yeah, so this is level 19 and one of the trickier levels overall. Probably the hardest one in my opinion, because it's this old bugbear of a level, except with more white p-types bouncing around and making your life miserable, basically. Okay, I'm gonna have to time this one, and there. You'll see why, because level 20 is pretty simple. It looks intimidating, I'm sure. It's kind of like a boss level, but there are only white p-types on screen, and the only shots you have are correspondingly white. So I'm just gonna spray my shots in. Everything absorbs in this stage though, so you're gonna have to take direct shots at them. and it's most likely your shots are gonna get eaten up. So you're gonna be a little bit reliant on RNG here, but not too bad. It's a little bit of like a little fun shooting exercise right at the end. We're gonna line up, spray the shots in, and there we go. Illuminated. It's a light bulb. So, yep. That's the idea I had behind it. And yeah, I gotta discuss that little glitch at the end. The rank system's kind of broken. Because of the way the code works, you can only get a D or an E rank. So, originally it was below 300 shots you get an S rank, and below 350 you get A, below 400 you get a B, 450 C, 500 D, and if you get anything more than 500 you get an E rank. But because of how the code works and the way it was built, it kind of like broke, and you only have a D or an E rank. So anything below 500 you get D, anything above 500 you get E. So that's a little bit disappointing, and that's something I kind of want to fix. So that's why I'm planning to put out a 1.1 patch sometime soon. Maybe I'll try to fix that thing, get an actual thing working. So but other than that, I'm pretty pleased with this game. It's using back in and stuff. Oh yeah, that thing stays on screen as well on the restart. But yeah, that's E-Type. Interesting little experiment I made. 48-hour game jam game. For a game jam game, a 48-hour thing. I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm pleased with the level of polish I achieved, and yeah, I'll be more than willing to do another game jam anytime soon. Although it is rather tiring and rather stressful. Okay, so yep, this was my work, E-Type. You can try it for yourself. There's gonna be a link in the description as well. I always put links there for any games. And starting in the next episode, we're gonna take a look at more game jam games that just came out just last weekend. And for Global Game Jam 2017, we'll start off with the games from the site that I was jamming at. Because you know, I really saw most of them being presented, and hey, I want to give shout outs to my classmates and my friends and my course-mates, you know, all that stuff, good stuff, you know, put those games out on the map as well, have people take a look at them. But yeah, that was my little retrospective on my game jam experience and a little demo of my game. I hope you guys like it too if you want to try it out. So yep, that's E-Type. And thank you for watching then. So this has been Game Jam Quickplay. Coro signing off.